So first of all, this is an advertisement for the up-and-coming Project Inspire. I was talking to the holy Rabbi Yossi Friedman, who runs the whole show there. Amazing guy. Anyone know him? Anyway, so we were working on which titles. So I said we should do like the hard titles that people would love to have answers for. They don't know. What are the big questions that from people, even the fromest people, are insecure about our position? Like number one is Charedim in the army. It's a tough thing to say. Like the bottom line is other people should die. Like we don't. It's not a good look. You really need a good answer for that. That's number one. Number two is, again, it's not all from people. Like the Fraya people, Tznius and the Taliban. Why is it Tznius not Taliban light? You have to explain why it's gender roles. That men and women are different. These are old school ones. Homosexuality is a huge. So like, what's wrong? He was born that way. Like, why? What are you gonna stone him? Like, you're really gonna stone somebody? These kind of things. So I want to do all these Shira. That's what I want to do. So I was explaining why. I said, let's call the series like no ums, like the no smoking sign, like the free zone. No, don't be. You shouldn't not have answers. And I was I had that experience myself just like a few weeks ago. So I was sitting at Kiddish Levana, and this guy leans over to my middle Kiddish Levana and said, "Rabbi, what exactly are we doing here?" And I literally didn't have what to say to him. If I didn't have 45 minutes to explain it, there was nothing. I should have been able to say like a one little line of what Kiddush Levana is. And it's a wake-up call. We really have to be able to articulate why we do what we do. Anyway, so let me tell you a short part of Kiddush Levana first. In Kiddush Levana we do this really strange thing. Kishem shani roike kenegdech. What we do our little, anyone know why we even do that? That little bounce on your heels?
Because we're saying the words dance.
Huh?
Because you're saying the words dance.
Isn't that like the weirdest dance you ever saw in your life?
Like, can't reach.
What?
Sure, we can't reach.
You keep trying to reach the Levana, you're trying to jump, you're being kaifet to Levana. That would make sense, but that's not what it says. It says Shem Shnei Roike. You dance when you say the word Roike.
And then what do we say? The Eni Yachal.
Yeah, so you're saying it's going on the Eni Yachal, not on the Roike.
Maybe, I don't know.
Nice, that's beautiful.
That's what I thought.
That's very nice. That's beautiful. That's nice. So it's not, you're not dancing weird. It's sort of like launching yourself. You're trying to, but it's not really a dance. It's not really a dance. It's more about so the fact is we know why we dance like that. The reason we dance like that is because you want to dance, but you don't want to bend your knees like you normally do when you dance because it looks like you're bowing to the moon. So you want to dance without bowing. That's why we do that heel. It's a good idea to have. The reason we do that heel dance. So I don't know if it's a real kasha, but I know it's definitely an opening to talk about it. Is so if we're so worried that it looks like Avodah Zarah, I hear you. We're all standing in front of the moon. It looks like we're praying to the moon, and if you start bowing, Taka looks bad. I get it. So then why is dancing so important that we have to do this weird dance? Because we might just skip the dancing. Like why is dancing so? For example, Rosh Hashanah, we don't blow shofar in the Beis Hamikdash because somebody might carry the shofar. You don't take lulav and esrog on Yom Tov in the Beis Hamikdash because you might carry. So we're canceling Rosh shofar because you might carry. So maybe we can cancel dancing by Kiddush Levana because it might be Avodah Zarah. Like it's so much bigger a problem and so much less of an Indian to dance. Like why is dancing so central? I'm just thinking now, this might be a good Pesach to the whole Shabbos Shira. Might be just Basher. We'll see. We'll see if it flows from this into Shira. The Nechama of the Levana. So I'll just repeat for you. We just said the point is why did we do that weird dance by Kiddush Levana on the back heels? You do that little bounce. You don't do it. We do exchange. You don't do that. Exchange. You go like this.
I didn't know we're supposed to do that.
You never said when do it?
No.
It's in the arts.
Don't ask me how many times I Kiddush. That's a personal question.
You don't go to shul on Shabbos?
I do go to shul, but I never knew we were supposed to be dancing.
I feel like it's one of those things.
What?
I feel like it's one of those things
No,
that
that's
the entire
afterwards we
world
dance.
does because our school says so.
But
and
everyone
nobody
does it. But
I never
you-
do
how
the
is
bounce.
it-
I really
How is
did
it
it.
possible to be a from Jew and never see it?
I don't know.
I think I've seen it, but
Everyone does it. You know what I'm talking about? Everyone goes like this.
I've seen. I just didn't process it.
Kashem
You guys will start
Shadi
doing
Roike.
it.
What do you say?
You guys will start doing it now.
But Kaddish, you
Okay,
guys-
You'll hear this year. You're for
You
sure
say
gonna start doing it.
Kashem Shadi Roike.
Well, first you start saying Kiddish Levana, and then you start doing
It's
this.
the bouncing. Before bouncing, it's
So you do Kaddish, you do the bounce.
Kaddish, you do the bounce, yeah.
I hear bounce.
Kaddish, I know about.
It's like a Kiddish Shira.
This is the project inspired.
Yes, Jesus was Jewish. All right. So we say Kashem Shani Roige Kenegdech, just like I dance before you. To the right. The Ein Yochel and Goyavach, but I can't hit you. I can't hurt you. Kach lo yuchlu kol oyev aylen go. So too should all of my enemies not be able to hurt me. That's what we say. But when we say the word roike, just like I dance in front of you, we do that little bouncy thing on our heels. And the reason why la halacha is because we're standing in front of the Levana. It looks like you're praying to the moon, so we don't want anyone to bow to the moon. So that's why you can't do regular dancing, because when you can't dance and you bend your knees. So you dance without bending your knees. How does that look? That's what dancing would look like if you can't bend your knees. What are you going to do? That's what you do. That's what we do. We're dancing without bending our knees. So the question is, if we're worried, it looks like you're doing avodah zarah. So why not just skip the whole dancing? Why is dancing by this random pasuk in Kiddish Levana so important? It has nothing to do with Kiddish Levana. This dancing. We do cancel things all the time in Yiddishkeit. We don't blow shofar in the Beis Hamikdash on Rosh Hashanah if it falls on Shabbos, because you might carry the shofar, and that's Haitzah, it's probably a car, whatever it is, you can put up an Erev, there's a million ways around it. We don't do it. And Lulav also, we don't do Lulav. Right?
It's really different, by the way. You're comparing, you might actually be Mechal Shabbos to might look like you're doing the way Zara. It's two different things.
I hear. You can put up an Erev. You can
Is
do a
that-
million things.
that's
That's
right.
my Rashi asked that. Rav Wilson, he said every single town in Europe, you know what they used to do? The only person who kept the fire a whole Shabbos was the baker, because he needed to have his oven go. It's a big deal. So he kept his oven, a big huge baker's oven burning, and everybody would bring their cholent wrapped up in towels, or whatever it was, and put it in the baker's oven before Shabbos. And then after Shul, everybody would carry their cholent home. That was how it worked in Europe. So he said that so every town had an Erev, so that people could have hot food on Shabbos. So why didn't they build an Erev in Yerushalayim? He wasn't the joker. So maybe he had a few jokes. Is one of his jokes. I don't know if it was a joke. Maybe he meant it serious. So he said, when you have a litvak who doesn't say jokes and he says a joke, it's memorable. So it's like, if he asked me for any other jokes, he said, I don't think there were. But he said, Weistois. So that was his question. The Beis Hamikdash should have built an Erev also, and they could have brought a shofar. He says, Weistois, we only build an Erev for a Tzorech Gadol. It's funny that. Okay. So the first thing, the verse, I think the answer is a deep answer. What does dancing have to do with Kiddish Levana? The whole part of what Kiddish Levana is about is the nechama to the moon that it was shrunk. That the moon, originally the pasuk says there were Shnei Ha'ma'oros Hagdolim, the two great luminaries. Originally there were two huge luminaries, the sun and the moon. And Hashem shrunk the moon. The moon became this just this satellite around the sun, around the earth. The moon isn't even a satellite of the sun. It's a satellite of the earth which goes around the sun.
No, but it reflects light from the sun.
So that's all it has, none of its own light. It's just like it's a very degraded state, right? The moon's been broken, right? That's what it says by the Musafim. Every Musaf it says to give kappa. They bring this Musaf lechaper aleichem, except by Rosh Chodesh. The Seir Shel Rosh Chodesh. The Seir Shel Rosh Chodesh doesn't say to forgive you. It's forgive Hashem. It's a carbon for Hashem. Hashem says, I need forgiveness for what I did to the moon. Whatever it means, but it's something to think about. the carbon on Rosh Chodesh is a carbon that Hashem should get. It's Hashem's carbon that the moon that he needs to do kapara for having shrunk the moon. But what's the vart? So the moon was broken. What's an achama to somebody who's been diminished? What's the nechama? So I think the nechama is, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of getting clapped around, getting knocked around? Originally, what happened was that there was the world was created, a magnificent sun, a magnificent moon, and the Levana said to Hashem, doesn't make sense that you have two people to run the show. The world is a world. The Shnei Malachim, that you have two kings of the world. You have to work out some kind of system over here. What? Two Ravs in the shul. Right. So it's not a good mahalach. So nice. It's good zushtal. So it's important to be menachem.
The smaller one.
Whatever. Yeah. So what if you wanted to be menachem someone? Practically speaking, what do you tell somebody who's been broken? What's the different types of nechama? So I was just thinking, there's a lot of nechama. Hashem will replace it. Hashem will do this. Hashem will punish them. Whatever. There's different angles you could go with, right? You want, but there's a very interesting one, and maybe the most important benefit of brokenness is, I don't know if your dar had this. Your dar already. You guys were raised with iron-free shirts, right? Non-iron shirts. In my days, we had to give in our shirts to the cleaners. Everybody got their shirt starched. That was the thing you did in yeshiva. It was the biggest budget item. It was $1 a shirt, 99 cents a shirt, but you gave in your shirts. But the cool thing was, when you got your shirt back, it was like a rock. It was hard. We loved it. The crisp shirts, and the pocket was ironed, was starched shut. So you picture it. There's the pocket here, but you couldn't open it because it was it looked crisp. It looked like.
We used to go around.
And there was so you're the guy. So there's always that Bulvan in yeshiva who would come, and he would stick his hand in your pocket and break the seal, and that's the biggest rush in yeshiva. Okay, it's guys like the guys who don't do Kiddish Levana. You'll hear why. It's a good zushtel. Shits. But the guys who break open the pocket. But you know what the mila was when the guy broke open your pocket? And now you could play basketball during Bein HaStarim. You couldn't do anything Bein HaStarim because you didn't want to ruin your shirt. But the second your shirt is ruined, the starch is unstarched, so now you're free. Now I can break it down and I can let go and I can be all in. That's the mila of having your shirt pocket broken up. And I think, and between me and you, what's better? To walk around all day stiff because you're proud of your shirt pocket, which some Chinese guy did, or to play basketball, live and feel on fire, hit some shots and drive and penetrate. It's really olam hafach. The lucky people in the world, it's a mashal, in the real world, the people who have bracha are all the people whose pockets were broken. The Levana is much luckier than the Shemesh because the Levana is liberated. It doesn't need to be starchy and stiff and sit, and it can break it down. You go to a class, there's the guys that can go into the middle of the circle and just dance like crazy. And then there's the people who are so self-conscious, every move, they can dance also because they practiced in front of a mirror 40 times and they have all their moves. But you can tell who's breaking it down, who's free, and who's stiff. The real bracha of life is the guy who's letting go. Although you think that the guy with the stolz is the guy who's the guy. Because he feels so important. No, but he's not alive. He's repressed. He's restrained. The guy who's liberated and totally free is the guy who's breaking it down, and that's the Levana. The nechama of the Levana is that yes, you were shrunk, but you know what that created? What's the nechama of Levana? Rikud. All dancing is a result that you have to dance by Kiddish Levana because it's the brokenness of Levana that created dancing. If there never would have broken this Levana, nobody in the world would have ever been able to dance. Everybody would be walking around like with their tie. I'm not going to crease my shirt. I'm not going to get my hands dirty. The entire celebration of the Levana is the celebration of that freedom, and that's like it's a whole new take on freedom. It's very deep. You have to think about like what that means. Like and I think that's the best nechama. That's the best nechama for tsar, is that I'm not going to give you a kvetch why tsar is okay or get better. I shouldn't take care of you. Is you're the only guy who's living. The guy who didn't go through tsar, he's like in the waiting room. He's like the guy with the pocket starch, and he's protecting his pocket. Like we protect it. We don't want it to get ruined. Why? Because you don't want to start living. The guy who's dancing in the middle of the circle by the wedding, he has joy. He's actually experienced, I don't know joy, but he's experiencing something. He's experiencing life. The guy who can't break it down and can't let go is not experienced. He's restrained. From what? What is he restrained from? What would you think he's restrained from?
Himself,
life, being, everything. He's not.
He's too scared to fail.
But I'm saying that's crazy. It's like literally. So it's such an opposite view of the world. Is that life begins when you're crushed. If you weren't crushed yet, then you're still walking around with your pocket. It's literally an upside down world, and that's why it's so important to dance by Kiddish Levana. Even though we think it might look like Avodah Zarah. So then don't dance, you have to dance. But don't dance, bend your knee. Just bounce in. But this, and this is really the whole discussion. You know, the discussion between David and Michal? When they built the Beis HaMikdash, or before they built it, when David wanted to build it, they danced the Aron Kiddish to Yerushalayim. And the whole time David is dancing in front of the Aron. He's the king. But he's like dancing wild. And Pasuk says, Mecharker u'mefazfez. I don't know what they mean, but they sound very intense. You know? What do they call those words in English that mean what they sound like?
Onomatopoeia.
An onomatopoeia. Right?
What?
Fancy linguist over
An
here.
onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia.
Someone explain?
It's a word that sounds like what it is.
Like fizz.
Like mecharker or mefazfez. You could have guessed whatever, you know, it's like whatever it is. I wouldn't like this. It's like a little more elbow in there. It's not with your fingers. It's like elbow, you know. It's like Chaim Millen, the most repressed people in the world. Like they call that dancing. It's like mamish the whole. You can't get out of your stiffness, you know. It's like stolz. Whatever. It's this crazy stira. It's like one of the great caricatures of steers in the world is Chaim Millen dancing.
What's Chaim Millen dancing?
Chaim Millen is stolz.
Yeah.
And then they dance. They have their dance. You know.
Oh yeah.
You can't dance with stolz. That's exactly it's like obscene. It's like literally. It's just the fakest thing in the world. It's like putting a spotlight on your limitations. You know. That's good. Do we ever do that sugya? We ever did halacha? How I describe halacha? My mashal for halacha.
What halacha?
Halachic Judaism, like modern Orthodoxy. Whatever, we'll go with it next. I call. If you want to understand halach, the worst thing is this phrase halachic Judaism. You heard the expression? Yeah. It sounds like a nice description. We're halachic Judaism.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to Yiddishkeit. Okay, halachic Judaism is like it's like a white. I call it a white man dancing. You know, that's what halacha is. Halacha is a white man dancing. You understand the problem? You can give him all the moves, but it's like the robot.
He doesn't have the flow.
It doesn't flow.
It's not smooth.
Now Yiddishkeit is a flow. It's real. The problem is if you want to write down the laws, you have to write them down. But when you just read it the way it is, it comes across like moves. 613 moves. And if you do them, it's a robot. So halacha is not a fair description of Yiddishkeit. You understand that you have to put things in writing, so it's going to be like this, but you have to know that it's not the whole thing. You got to round out all the corners. Yiddishkeit is, I have a very good mashal for this, but it's like you have to be like, when we started having computers, I don't know if people today will even know what it is, but my first computer was like, we paid extra for the bigger, deeper, for more resolution. It was 256 pixels by 192. that was like crazy about the pixels. I was called Extended Basic, whatever. And on my Radio Shack color computer.
What's Radio Shack?
Yeah. Anyways, so but and then you can make pictures. But if you made a circle on the,
it's a little jagged.
What? It was just jagged. And but mine, because I had 256 across, it was less jagged. The other guys was like ridiculous. Most computers were 128 max. So your circles look like, because you can't make circles. You can just fill in boxes. But if you fill them, as computers get more and more sophisticated, more and more pixels, now you have these Samsung things have what do they call it? UHD, UXHD, and this, what? OLED. No, OLED doesn't. That's a type of screen. But there's the amount of pixels. There's HD. There's Ultra HD and
1920 by 1080 is standard.
Yeah, that's standard HD.
Laptop.
And now there's much more 8K.
I have 8K.
But they're all, because what happens is everything gets so much more smooth. You can go up close and there's no pixels. But as you do it, so it gets smoother and smoother as it goes around. But it's never really a circle. It's a multi-sided polygon, but it has so many sides it looks like a circle. So that's how Yiddishkeit looks like. Originally you have 10 commandments. 10 commandments is a very jaggedy circle. And then you fill it in with the Torah starts to give you 613 mitzvos built on those 10 commandments. So now 613 is already, it's a little more soul in the dancing. It's like not so jagged. And then you start to add in the Mishnayos, which starts to give more detail to each mitzvah. So the mitzvah, there used to be 613 corners. Now, if each mitzvah has 4 parakim of many halachas, so you made each corner into 8 corners. So now you mamish rounded it out. And then the Gemara comes and adds much more detail. We keep on adding more and more detail to, but what Chazal are doing is they're getting closer. But at one point you're going to have to, no matter how many dots you make, that's a good child to ask. Like, I don't know how we can explain it best. But is there a point where you can add enough dots that you solve the problem? At what resolution? What?
The problem is what? That your circles
What's the problem? There's many problems, but what's the one problem that you can never solve?
That you can't draw a circle. You can only fill in boxes.
Okay, but so what's the problem with that? Let's say I get so many pixels that you need a microscope.
So it's still not straight.
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Meaning, if it
You
looks
look at them individually.
Could you imagine there's a problem? Can you go with a problem? Let's say today most of our screens have such good resolution to the naked eye you can't see the difference between a circle and a multi-sided polygon. You have no idea. If you can't even tell if you know it's not because it's pixels, but you can't tell, right? You know what the problem is? The problem is again, it's a mushroom, but if I take a pen, the thing when you tie it to a string and you spin it around, you spin it enough times, eventually it'll make a few cycles on its own, right? You do it with centrifugal force, right? So you just do it, and eventually it'll just keep on going until the momentum gets weak and it just flops down. But why is that? Because it's going in a circle and it perpetuates itself. But on a polygon, that'll never happen. Because every side is its own energy. Right? Imagine going on to walk, if you walked around the pentagon. Right? So you go on this side, then you go on this side, then you go here, and then you go here, or a hexagon, an octagon. Right? So each side, you keep on going. If you just keep on going, you're going to go straight off into nowhere. You don't turn the corner with on a circle. It goes by itself. I wish I had a better way to articulate it. Yeah, am I describing it all? You understand what I'm saying? The difference between when something is shaped like that. So all the energy in direction, you have to keep on.
Meaning, if you have a rounded edge, the force can continue. If you have a straight edge, it's going to go like you said.
Keep on going into space. So
but on a circle, you can.
You have to keep on giving gas, and every time you get to the corner, you turn the wheel and you give gas again. You turn the wheel. You have to keep on turning the wheel. But if it's a circle, it just goes. That's a good way to understand the difference between Yiddishkeit and halacha. I'm not
Which one's
getting
halacha?
what?
Which one's halacha?
Halacha is a million little laws. It's the white man dancing. It's the multi-sided polygon. You could keep on adding more detail to halacha, but you're never going to feel Yiddishkeit. It has no feeling. Yiddishkeit is the flow, the curve. I feel it, so because I'm not able to give it over. I don't know if I can give it. Maybe in the course of this year we'll get new words. I never really did this year. So let's go back to where we were. And
About David and Michal.
what
So
David
you're
is-
saying Yiddishkeit is not, you can't feel halachas.
You could, but it's never going to have a life of its own. You could feel an individual halacha. I can mamish connect to the left side of the pentagon, but it's not going to lead you to the right side. It's its own trip. Every side is its own trip. But there's a point where trips are supposed to connect and lead you that now you're like self.
And that's Yiddishkeit as a general thing?
Yiddishkeit is a circle. The different Yiddishkeit is a circle. It's a real, full experience. It's
Barring 613 mitzvahs, what is Yiddishkeit made of?
Oh, so see, that's not good. So this is where I want to go. I think that's what Shira is. We're going to get to Shira.
This sounds like really important stuff.
It is. It's very important. That's what I'm saying. But this is huge. This is at the heart of like the different approaches on Yiddishkeit. You know, so let's work it out. So David is mecharker mefazves. My favorite words in the whole Torah when he tells his wife. You have to hear his words. He's dancing wildly. Mecharker. Again, we don't know. No one knows what it is. What it means. He was doing wild, crazy things. Actually, when I was in Yardley, they opened a messianic church, synagogue, whatever. Jews for Jesus. They call it. It's not Jews for Jesus. It's a competing franchise, but it's Messianic Judaism. So I wanted to crash. I wanted to go in there, especially on Purim. I had that balabata. We'll go in there. We'll make fun. We'll have fun. Let's see. Let's right. So somebody went in there. I sent someone in there first to get us like their program. Let's see what they're doing. What?
It's not a mitzvah.
They're Yiddish, I'm saying.
Well, it turns out there were no Jews there. The only Jew in the whole congregation was the rabbi's husband. The rabbi's husband was the only Jew. Okay? There was all guy. But the guy went in and he brought us back their schedule, their program, and they had the coolest thing in the world. It's called Davidic worship. Davidic worship. What? I felt a little bit of an inferiority complex for a minute. Let me explain what it is. David was mecharker mefazves. His wife, Michal, looks out the window as he's coming by and she sees him dancing in front of the Aron. And when he gets home that night, he says to him, I basically, tonight you humiliated yourself and the whole nation in front of the eyes of everybody. You acted like a bur, like one of the low lives of the nation. Today you showed the difference between your kingdom and my father's kingdom. Now Michal was Shaul's daughter. Shaul was the king of the Jews. He lost the rights to be the melech, and Hashem told Shmuel to anoint David HaMelech. Shaul in the Torah is described as Mishichmoi L'malaya. He was a head and shoulders taller than everybody else. He was the most presidential person in history. Dignity, majesty, royalty, starch pocket, silverware, pomp and circumstance, the whole thing. David is described in the Torah as like a kid with red hair and freckles, Admoini, and like Goliath is big, he's the little kid with the slingshot. David is like the underdog, the kid with the harp and the freckles, and Shaul's is Melech. And those are the two different types of Malchus. Now David takes over for Shaul. When David killed Goliath, so he got to marry Shaul's daughter. He married Shaul's daughter. So he marries the daughter of the Melech, and he's like this, strappy little kid. And she sees him dancing, and she's horrified, humiliated. She says, you humiliated yourself. You acted like a commoner. And David says the best words ever in the history of the universe. Unekaloisi oid mizois. So many good ways to translate it. Unekaloisi, with the word kal, make my to be light. Unakaloisi, I will yet make myself low. Oid more mizois, mean this. Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. I am just getting started. You know? That's what he says. Because that's what defines David. What defines David is the ability to totally tear down all of my inhibitions, all of those stiff. What made your father's kingdom was Malchus. What made my kingdom is the breaking away from the chains of Malchus to be real. And that is one of the greatest machloksim in history. And this is really ends up being the fissure, the crack between the 10 tribes that get lost and the other tribes. This is where they break. The Malchus of the children of Yosef and the Malchus of the children of Yehuda, of David. And they become two different nations. Each one brings with it its own averis, its own risks, its own yetzaharas, its own milas, its own brachas. And if we want, we can do that. We can go flesh out like what you think is the beauty of David's way versus Shaul's way, and what's the downside. The obvious downsides of Shaul's way is gaiva, and gets to your head and you think who you think you are. And the downsides of David's way, would be things like David and Bathsheba, Yehuda and Tamar. Is that when you break it down, so you're missing all the things that you can't do things because they're beneath you. You can do bad averas, you can do low things. There's an unbelievable beauty to serving Hashem when you break it down, when you lose your inhibitions and you throw yourself at Hashem. Like you can imagine the tefillah of Shaul and the tefillah of David. Like that's why David wrote Tehillim. Nobody had written stuff like that before. Everything else was like, the guy who davens like no shuckling, but there's a certain majesty to that kind of Rashiva. Just getting to Hashem and talking, But then there's David's tefillahs. He wrote Tehillim. Tehillim is the expressions that come from your kishkas once. So really, all of that stuff that we're talking about now comes from the moon. Shaul is a child of the Shemesh, and David is a child of the Levana. And David's real Mashiach comes from David. You have to understand, Mashiach doesn't come from Shaul. Mashiach comes from the person without the majesty, without the people who are closest to that so it turns the world upside down. So the entry into Mashiachhood, if you want to be a candidate for Mashiach or anything similar or anything holy, so the requirement is somebody had to break you somewhere along the line. You had to have been crushed. If you were never crushed and you're still walking around like that, so you didn't even get an admission ticket yet to the story. And those are the words of David, and I think that's why, I'm using the mashal of dancing. We have to figure out what singing is. But you see, singing is the same kind of thing. Shira is an amazing thing. And it's Shira that is the celebration of freedom. Leaving Mitzrayim, you say a Shira. Because it's, you know what it is? It's harnessing, it's sort of like great, maybe that's the most beautiful. Why do we talk about our lives always as Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim? It's a little bit of a negative spin on it, no?
Why?
You can spend your whole life talking about your trauma.
Just Mitzrayim was the trauma.
Mitzrayim was the trauma. So it's always like, that was the day that I recovered from my alcoholism. That's what you want to say about the rest of your life? You never become... Is there ever a point where you stop being like, where Baal Tshuva stops being a Baal Tshuva? Every Baal Tshuva wants that everyone should like think of him as a regular person. So like, why would we talk? I guess there's another way to ask the same question. You could say, why don't we talk about Zecher L'Mahar Sinai? Why aren't we focusing on something beautiful? We left Mitzrayim and got our Torah. So why don't we count and celebrate everything from getting the Torah? Why leaving Mitzrayim? What is the leaving Mitzrayim? It's a legitimate question from a lot of angles. From why don't we do the positive? Why are we focusing on the negative? Well, if nice.
I think it's better this way.
Yeah, it's cool.
So motion sensor or no? Yeah, it's motion sensor. So walk out that door.
Be mecharker, you know what it is? See that? If you sit still too much, the lights go off. Thank you. Thank you, Hashem. Amazing. Is that amazing, Marshall? You want to keep the lights on? You gotta keep moving. Flail your hands. Oh, I didn't tell you, that's what Davidic worship is. What they wrote, Davidic worship is that's what they would do there. Are you jealous now? Like,
that's where they got it from?
It's worth going there. No, that's what they do.
But they got it from
They got it from David. They go there and they pray with their whole. They get their whole. Everyone's in their synagogue going, but like it's a mahalach. You hear it? It's like it's. I'm sure the people in Breslov do stuff like that. It's a little bit like that's what Abba is. People who could do Abba, it's the most liberating thing. I'm so jealous and I'm so repressed that I can't do Abba. Can you do Abba? You're like almost there, but you're still a little too cool. No, you're polished. You're not a wrestler. What? Yeah, you're the guy who's like living in both worlds. But can you do Abba?
Not every day.
Can you do it anything? Yeah, you could do it.
Europe. I'm going to Europe next week.
But you're gonna do it there. When there's people around, you can go like. You know what Abba is? You know what it is?
I feel with the
in Uman, that's a big breast of thing is
when you're with the right
to
crowd,
scream out to Hashem.
Right, that's the answer.
Like when you're in trouble, what happens when you're in trouble?
Doing a job interview.
Dad, Abba, you scream out to Hashem like.
It's not going to work in here, but if you're in the right crowd in Uman, then
so you can get carried by the crowd. Everyone can help you, but that's a breakthrough. That's similar to Davidic worship. You understand? Yeah. It's the same thing as the dancing is even more. Is it more or less? What's hard? Is it the same? Or is it, if you had to quantify, but it's just, for our purposes, this year is breaking it down 101. Maybe on higher levels, they'll be different.
Literally breaking it down.
Breaking it down. Breaking it down 101 is, for me right now in this year, they're the same thing. The ability to let go and scream, Abba! Like Hashem say, like, even for shtick, I can't do it. It's like, or the guy goes in the middle and dances without,
It's called letting go if he's screaming at Feldheim in a crowd of people.
Is what?
If you talk to Hashem privately, it's not called letting go. It's just let Hashem, tell Hashem.
It's a different kind of letting go. The Ishbitzer says something so amazing. It's not the same thing, but it's triggering that thought. He says, what was the moment where the Geula Mitzrayim begins?
That's Tzaka.
What?
That's Tzaka.
Not Tzaka. It's close. Better than Tzaka. That's why you need the Ishbitzer. And other people probably say by Yitzchak. The Ishbitzer is always a little deeper. Vaye'onchu. Vaye'onchu means what? They groaned from the work. So what's the difference between crying out to Hashem and groaning? Which one comes first?
Crying.
Groan. The first is the groan. The groan is, you didn't even talk to Hashem. What's a groan? It's just where the tsar broke through my ability to hold it in and it came out. When you express your tsar, it's oy. That oy, it's not even a tefillah yet. But what happened? What had to happen to say oy? You had to cross that threshold of the starch pocket. Right? When you hold in the oy, so your pocket's still starched. The second you say oy, and that's the geula. It's not that the geula starts then, it's deeper than that. Is then you were nigal. That's the geula. You understand that, Ekseknech? Not that Hashem heard you groan. You don't get any, Hashem doesn't help you because you groan. It's physics, whatever science it is. It's just automatic. It's not you. So what does it mean the geula begins then? Is you have to redefine the meaning of geula. Geula means freed. From what? Who's enslaving us according to this? That's the question. If you can answer that, then you got the share. Who's enslaving us in this language? If the freedom is the groan, If a groan is freedom,
Our inability to let loose.
yeah. So what is that? Good. So what is that? Who's my paro? Who's paro? Who's the paro?
Your pride.
Who's that? Who's that paro keeping you slave? Your stolz,
Yeah.
your dignity, your coolness. That's your power. It's so deep. You know who power is? Power's that guy. Power is that guy. And what's power skill? What's power best at? What power skill set? Hardening his heart. That's all hardening your heart. Your whole hardening your heart is how you coolness keeps you in check. What is the geula? Vaye'anchu. Now I don't think Vaye'anchu really is ideal. Because we had a problem with
It
Vaye'anchu.
gets back to Levana.
What?
It gets back to
Yeah, so I'm saying it's all connected. And
Right, the problems in the midbar came from the.
yeah, but my question is Vaye'anchu a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing because it's the expression that you were no longer suppressed. It came out. It popped out. Right? It's like, I don't know. It's like when you're trying to hold in laughing and that laugh that comes out of your nose. Like that kind
We
of thing.
discussed this once.
What?
We discussed this
I discussed that to me. That's part of the Mickey muscle. Where's Goldwag?
He responded on the chat. Like I don't know.
He's not Mickey anymore, so it's
What's the Mickey
he's
muscle?
dying. He's like
The Mickey Shira's private share.
Mickey. It's not posted. We didn't post it.
This post, it wasn't public. It was like an hour plus. That was all done in the back porch of the barbecue.
Okay. So, but the Mickey.
That was done with a Talbot.
It's the girl in the bar when the guy
was
is
it
trying
worse?
to hit on her and he says like inappropriate jokes, so she can't laugh at his joke. This is who does he think he is talking to like that? Right. So she holds in the laughter. So the guy says a more appropriate joke, and she holds it in. But eventually, we know she's going to lose because she's going to laugh, right? The aside there was, she thinks she laughed. She thinks she lost when she laughed. When did she lose?
She was listening.
The second he said something insulting, and she stayed. Like I just treated you like you were not respectable. I said something inappropriate. Why are you still standing here? She thinks I held in the laughter. I'm like, no, you stayed. All that means is I like the attention. So he won already. And she doesn't chap that. But that's what I do the nose thing, right? Now remember that? Eventually she's gonna laugh. Like she can't hold it in. So, but she lost a long time before that. So let's go back to where we are there. So now we're saying that Vaye'anchu is, but again, Vaye'anchu is not. It is the geula, but it's the wrong geula.
What do you mean one Google?
I say that in my own life. I don't know. I always get put too much out there.
Well, this show's being public, so just
Okay, no,
figure
make
that
everything cringe. And I just know myself.
This is letting go. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the thing?
This is Davidic Torah.
Right.
Rip it all the way. Look. By the way, that's probably why the whole Superman thing. That's so the whole Superman thing is ripping open his shirt. Like, where'd that come from? Clark Kent opens the shirt and underneath is Superman is what exists when you peel off all your layers. It has to be like
I'm
that.
sure it's what they were thinking.
Everybody has a Superman underneath that's covered up like all your Gundams. You gotta rip them off, and then underneath is Superman. It's amazing. You have a cape somewhere under all the layers. You gotta rip it off. So I always say I never connected to this, but I always said like I got to a certain darga closest to Hashem. But I get no schar for it because I didn't get there on my own. I got there only when there was nothing left. When you're so broken, you're so thing, and you just turn to Hashem, you say, Hashem, save me. So it's amazing that with that moment you get close to Hashem. And at that moment, I stopped smoking then. It's an amazing thing. I stopped smoking. I was the biggest. Nobody smoked like me. I smoked 3 packs a day for years. I was like, first of all, my whole personality was smoking. That's who I was. I was like smoking. I was like a bad boy rabbi. I was college kids. I would smoke. I had like a legendary picture. We're rappelling down the mountain, like in some place. I'm like 500 feet in the sky, and I'm stopped halfway, holding out one hand because I had to stop for a cigarette on the mountain. But I was like a legend with the college students and this kind of stuff. You know my story of my heart attack. That's the best story from all. I was playing ping pong with some Russian kid, the kind of kid that doesn't wear a shirt the whole trip because he has a six pack, you know those guys? And I was beating him in ping pong like 16-7. Like I was like 40 years old and he was like 19, and it was very good for him. So, but right then I had a heart attack. Bam! I felt it. It was terrible pain. And you pull a muscle like that, you push on it, it feels better. You counter pressure, and I realized none of that's working. And then it's deeper, and then I realized it's like symmetrically over both shoulders, and it's spreading. I said, it's a real heart attack. I'm having a heart attack. And then it hit me like, I gotta finish the game. I'm a Kira guy. This is Kira. He needs to lose to the rabbi. He can't be saved by a heart attack. I have to finish. I finished the game. I beat him. And I was in Pseik when the Aisha Torah had a Kira house. I sat down in the chair, it was a cordless phone. Bring me the cordless phone. We called Hatzalah. And I called Hatzalah. I'm having a heart attack over here. I gave him the address. Come right away. It was so bad, the pain. And then it hit me. Oh my God, it's really a heart attack. I'm like, who the hell am I going to be in the hospital for? Like, I won't be able to smoke. So I went outside. I sat on the front stoop waiting for the ambulance, and I pulled out a cigarette in the middle of my heart attack.
Was it actually a heart attack?
Yeah, it was, I had 5 stents.
Really?
Yeah.
No more Chinese food.
Yeah.
Wait, that's when you quit?
No, so I hadn't quit then.
From smoking?
Yeah.
Still being posted.
From smoking?
No, it was stress. It was stress. So,
What year was this?
A lot of years ago. 15 years ago, 16 years ago.
2010?
You make it sound like that was yesterday.
It was a long time ago. So, but why am I telling you this story? Oh, so but when did I stop smoking? So I stopped smoking sometime during the get. Like, I had like a restraining order on me. That I didn't like kill anybody. That's just a game the Titans pay. So I couldn't out of the house. I couldn't see my kids, and I wasn't allowed to call the house. And I was like worried that my kids are being destroyed and the lives are falling apart. I just whatever. And I was like too big of a Balgaiva to call anybody for help. Like, so I had like nowhere to go. Like I was like sleeping in my car. It was like I went through a tkufa. I was sitting there talking to Hashem, he was so angry, like, Hashem, I give my whole, like, you think you're a tzaddik, like, Hashem, I give my whole life to you, like, here I am, like, you can't even, like, cook me up with a place to go for Shabbos, but the one place when you finally get there and it pushes you, and then you just let go, and you let go, you stop, who am I fooling, and you just say, Hashem, hold me. That was like my line. It was like, Hashem, hold me. I'm so used to being the hero, like I have to take care of everybody. When you can say Hashem hold me, that's like the biggest line in the world. That's that David moment. But the second I said that, I never needed a cigarette again. It's such a deep thing. What did I chop?
You have the safety. I
chop that the cigarette was occupying a place in my life that the Rebbeinu Shalom was supposed to be. Every time stuff got tough or heavy, I went and had a cigarette, and it was amazing. It was my escape. The second that you with Hashem, you feel Hashem, like he goes, this is what the cigarettes, I was trying to do with the cigarettes. And this is the real place. I didn't need it. You feel the real version. And like, I don't know how to describe it, and you have to get there. But once you get there, you don't need a cigarette. Because the cigarette's like a poor replacement. Right? That's how I said. The cigarettes were occupying the place in my life that the Rebbeinu Shalom was supposed to be. And but how did I get there? It's not like I did enough. That's why I said I don't get any schar. I didn't do any avodah to get real with Hashem. I just had nowhere else to go. You get trapped and there's nowhere else. That's what Vayanchu is. You don't get reward Vayanchu. It pushed you to. The reward would have been if you got there before Vayanchu. If somehow you can get there in your mind, and that's the secret, that's the real, that's like the real secret of life, if somebody could figure that out. How to get to that close, the realness with Hashem without tzar. People get there all the time, but they only get there when they have tzar. When their back's against the wall and they have nowhere else to go and they say, Hashem, hold me. But can you say, Hashem, hold me when everything's amazing? That's like probably the only thing worth thinking. If you could figure it out, then that's the world's waiting for. How to get real with Hashem from joy, from positive things, not having to get from tzar. Sof kol sof. Once you get there, you're in the same place. You're with Hashem. Like it's not like I'm in the worst place with Hashem than the guy got there on his own. We're both the same Hashem. It's just I got there like a shnar, and this guy got there like a melech. But I'm wondering the way you just said it like that. Could it be that the same Torah that he got there in the Shaul way, and I got there in the David? Maybe the David way is better. Maybe the David way is better than the Shaul way. Is that possible?
It's easier. In this scenario, is that double way
but if I'm saying no, it's easier, but it's much more painful. Why should you have to suffer? Can you imagine? The only reason Hashem gives us tsar, you have to understand, this is huge. The only reason Hashem gives us tsar at all, she wasn't in the business of tsar. He wants you to be real. So the only way to get you real is to give you tsar. If we can get real out of tsar, we would never have to have tsar. All tsar is Hashem opening up my starch pocket so that I can dance. He just wants you to dance because there's no joy like that freedom. It's not just joy. That's what life is. Until you're dancing mecharker or mefazfez, you are not alive. You're chained in a dungeon somewhere. You don't think of Gaiva as a dungeon, but Gaiva is a dungeon. It's a place that you are chained, enslaved, unable to be who you Hashem wanted you to be. And to free yourself is to break through that Gaiva. Now, most people get there only like Klai. Again, it's not like I can knock myself out that I didn't get there on my own. Klai Yisrael, that Vayonchu, that's what Vayonchu means. They got there, they were trying to hold it in. And the groan is just, it pops out. It just, you can't hold it. But the second it pops out, you just said something real. You just let it out. You didn't suppress it. You were alive. You were real. And it's a realness without God. But that's God. But that's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants you to be real. And from once you're real, you said it already. So now now Akka comes. So that's why I told you this whole thing. I was like, for me, I never connected to this, but I always would say, like, it's a pity. I don't get any schar for this. I didn't get there on my own. I got there by default. But if you could figure out on how to get to that place with the Rebbeinu Shalom on your own, in Simcha, and it's doable. I can tell you, like, I know certain things about it, but I can't say I've really gotten there. But the way to get there. Again, I don't know if it's the ideal way. It might be a hybrid. See if you could figure it out. Let's do it together. Can we figure out how to get to that place of realness without tsar? What?
I'm going to have to go. Anything you want.
What time is it? I have to go also probably. What time is it? It's late. Yeah, so let's
is it realizing that you're actually, it's realizing...
Let me just say, so like this. I don't think this is the real way. I think this is a hybrid. The hybrid is... Again, so it's a vulnerability, a fear that allows you to get there. So why can't you have bracha and feel afraid you're going to lose your brachas rather than feel tsar?
You could.
Feel vulnerable about, I don't want to lose my good stuff in my life, and then go to Hashem, not from tsar. While you have the brachas, focus on the vulnerability. Vulnerability is dealing with tsar before it becomes tsar. Yeah. It's acknowledging the potential for tsar and taking like that. So that's why I don't think it's ideal. I think it's still the same thing, but you don't have to go through tsar. Right. It's the same thing, but except for all the problems, it has nothing in common. But it's right. It's not connecting to Hashem through joy. Right. There has to be a way to connect to Hashem through joy. But this I can understand. Vulnerability is a trip. Again, you want to be close to Hashem. You want to do it without tsar. So this already does two of those things,
How do we connect this to the Shira?
Oh, so Shira, so that's what Shira is. This celebration of freedom song. What is song? What song is the same thing to ideas, what dancing is to walking. You can walk or you can dance. You can sing or you can talk. It's a circle. Shira's, which is interesting because it means a straight line. Shira. But Shira is, what is Shira? Why am I saying Shira is a circle? Intuitively you understand it, but why is it? That's what Shira is, the thing that connects all the dots. I can have notes. The song makes all the notes into one moving, one curve, one wave. Right? That's what a song is. So Shira is the expression of freedom. It's the best expression of freedom. It's just an expression of my soul coming out. It's unrepressed. Which sort of, maybe we'll think about this, take this next step. Chazon is always grated against me, although I think it's beautiful. But Chazon sounds like it could be it's a very high level. It's the attempt to be the Shemesh and the Levana together. This controlled singing, it's like trippy. We're saying over here that there's stolz and then there's freedom. It's singing. Singing represents, but then Chazon is the best singer. He sings, that's very deep, no? To figure it out, work on it, okay? Maybe for next time I'll figure out what Chazonis is. Chazonis might be the shalom between David and Shaul, the Bnei Rachel and Bnei Leah.
It could be that's why nowadays. This could be that's why nowadays we don't enjoy chazanas. We just gotta get velt.
Right. No, but chazanas is when you can have the beauty of singing, like David, break it down, but at the same time the malchus of the dignity of Shaul, and when you combine the two of them, Klal Yisrael, all the shlotim together, that's what it would be. It would be this.
So we like chazanas?
What?
So we like chazanas?
I guess I'm saying potentially it is some. Like maybe not Chazanas, maybe you ever hear what he called? What's that most famous opera? Nissen Dorma. Play it before you go.
We're not so cultured.
Here you listen.
Okay. Listen to the Cats in the Cradle.
Nissen Dorma. Here, you ready?
What sort of woman did the Shira?
Is he?
Everyone knows this.
Is he Italian?
Today on Lifestyles of Slot Stars, we're taking a look inside Huff and Puff Money Mansion, exclusively on FanDuel Casino. This isn't your average.
We were talking about buying lottery tickets.
What is this? Spotify? Can we get to buy that trivia?
Pavarotti. Luciano Pavarotti sings Nissen Dorma.
Yeah, it's famous.
Beautiful. We're not cultured enough for this.
25 minutes? How long was it?
No, it's 1 minute. Well.
No, okay.
Enough? Ending's important.
The ending's the main
This is
part.
the part. You heard this 100 times, no?
Yeah,
I've done more Kiddish Levana than this.
I've heard this before.
Spectacular. Bring me your finest wines.
I think he's better than Hofgat.
You don't feel doesn't feel like crying?
No.
It's so
It's
majesty.
just French or something.
It's
I heard a
majestic.
health cop, by
It's
the way.
majestic and emotional.
Putting me to sleep.
But why?
I
But,
think
but
that's too.
you know, I feel the same thing. Like it's better than. But you know, in the Olympics when they do the floor exercises and they run up and then they do the triple axel lutzes, or maybe that's the
Like
ice,
the
the
field,
figure
the
skating.
field stuff.
It's the same thing with a voice. You need like a little runway to build up momentum, and they go up and he's doing flips and. But you know, I noticed the translation was there, right? Good, I didn't see it. It's so much better when you make up your own words. the real meaning is never as good. Like I want it to mean what I think it means. I don't want to know what they
What
really.
language is that?
What?
Italian.
Italian?
Latin. No, Latin.
Latin?
Italian. I don't know.
Pavarotti was
Probably the same.
Italian.
What?
So why was Shira done by the woman?
Stop.
Why was Shira done by the woman?
Who?
Any shot why Shira was done by the woman?
No, it was by the man and the woman. First the men did it. Ozyasha, and then
No, but
Miriam
they took-
took
It's
the
like an
women.
emphasis on the woman,
No,
Shira.
no, it's not. Look inside. She made
They took
another
the-
Shira.
They took the instruments though, right?
Vatetse Miriam the Russian the two Machalois, and her Shira was only one sentence. The whole Ozyasha was Klal Yisrael.
They put in a nice.
Miriam went Ashira Lashem Ki Goy Ga'asus V'Roicha Rovayam Ozi was.
That's how you
No.
know. That's
What
how
was
you
the Shira? What was
Who
it?
composed
Miriam had-
Usher?
I should didn't know.
Klal Yisrael.
It had to be
That's how you-
someone.
Yeah.
It was a nice harmony that they did.
All right, in my mind, I feel like the women were behind this Usher. and the whole
Tosha
Shira.
Miriam. Here, I'll show you. Well, that's the different. Hold on.
But no, it's right after the Shira. It says Miriam.
It says Vatei Miriam took out the women. Oz Yoshir Moshe uVnei Yisrael es Hashira Hazos. Moshe and Klal Yisrael. You think the women are going to sing with the men?
I'm cool, I'm asking.
Vatikach Miriam Hanavia Achais Aaron es Hatoif Biyoda. Miriam, the Neviah, the sister of Aaron, doesn't say of Moshe. Interesting. After took the symbols in her hand, Vateitzena Kol Anoshim Achara, and all the women went after him. After Betupin uV'Mecholos. Interesting. She only took a toif, and they took toif and mecholos. Besides the symbols, they were dancing. Vatan lehem. Oh, so it's nice. It's we're dancing. Forgot that they were dancing. All right, so it's dancing and singing. Dancing and singing does go together. Okay. And here's what she said: Vatan lehem Miriam. Wow. Vatan lehem Miriam. Miriam answered them. What she answered? Vatan. The article says Miriam spoke up to them. The pasuk says Vatan, so it's a response. Is a response to what? Is a response to the men's song?
Maybe the woman wanted to join.
But doesn't maybe they asked her and she answered it, or maybe it's a response to them dancing. The dancing awakened the song. But it's important to figure out what the response was. There's a response, possibly to the men's dancing. The woman said, "What about them? We want to dance too." But here's what she said. The whole women's song. Shir Lashem Ki Goy Ga Sus V'Roicha Rovayam. That's the whole song. The men gave it this whole 2-page song. And it's like an oil hafach, you know.
They were
All of a
giving.
sudden, the women are
They were giving a nice harmony.
The men, what?
They were giving a nice harmony.
Anyways, okay. But this is the Yisrael. The Yisrael is singing is not the song of freedom. Singing is freedom. Singing is freedom.
Here, I just want to mention